I mean, the thing is they were doing a movement to contact or a recon and force, which means they're fully expecting to take fire. I mean, that's the whole point. So that's just a higher risk operation.
To me, it didn't look like that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's one explanation. I mean, just saying that that's just a higher risk operation that's going to have higher casualties. It's just like when they say most airborne drops, they expect 50% casualties because those guys are dropping in on a place that's behind enemy lines.
If I may,
the way they did that, they knew they were going to take. I mean, look, they were shooting shit point blank, tree clumps, trenches, buildings. There were guys in there shooting at them. I mean, that's why they got fucked up, but that's what they had to do.
There was Donbass militia that fighting there. It's not Russian army.
Well, I mean, whatever. All those people are part of Russia. Okay, so when I say Russian forces, I just mean the Russian army.
They're not resupplied. They're not resupplied, fully equipped as the Russian army is. That's a difference.
Well, then maybe that's why they took more casualties than normal, but it doesn't change the fact that the operation was designed a certain way, and the way those operations go, you're going to take more casualties. It doesn't matter if it was DPR, LPR, or Russian. It doesn't really matter if they had more supplies or not. I mean, the whole point was they had to move to the enemy and take fire and figure out where they were and engage them. And they lost a lot of guys.
If you look clearly, it definitely looked like they would try to caught them off guard because they know everything was in the Zaporizhzhia region. They knew that they have an advantage in the Avdiivka region. What they tried to do is definitely go to Berdachi, capture that village, and completely cut them off. They wanted to do a fast thing. They didn't try to grind them off in Avdiivka. If you really look how they went, they tried to do it fast. Catch Berdichi, avoid more casualties. And in terms of Donbass militias, I don't think that I would agree because we saw T-80s in front of those BMPs. And according to many sources, I'm not someone who is at the front. I can only say what I'm reading. The DPR militias don't operate with T-80s. And T-80s were in the front of them, not T-72s. Those were T-80s. And to me, it completely looked like that they caught off guard in the north flank. I'm not talking about the southern. The southern part was good because the general took a complete different approach. But the northern part of Avdiivka was, in my opinion, just a mess from the Russians. And we have to acknowledge it. I can understand if you are a general and say, of course, I'm expecting that and that kind of casualties to gain a success. It's always the case. You have to calculate as a general. I can completely understand it. But if you really look how they went, they completely tried to gain a foothold to Berdichi or capture Berdichi as fast as possible and not have a grind in Avdiivka. They completely want to avoid it because Avdiivka is an 8-year-old fortress. They completely reinforced it for 8 years. They completely avoided to make it the second Bakhmut, if we're honest. And
they made a lot of bombing also in the night this past weeks.
So I want to just add a bit. So there was this Ryba and some of these pro-Russian media, they talk channels, they talk about this push towards Berdichi. The problem with that push, which I did draw also in my map and then I retracted it later, after that they didn't stay there, is that there is actually no footages coming out from that battle that prove that they are actually on the edge of Berdichi. That is a problem for me. Because if you look at the push for the so-called the slag heap or the volcano, we saw footages that they show their advances, but we don't see much. We saw the battles at Stepove, we don't see the battle at Berdichi. We only see bombardments of Berdichi through airplanes and stuff. So the pro-Ukrainian side say that attack never happened. So, and I think that might be a possibility that might be the case, because when the Russians drew the map in that way, where they're at the edge of Berdichi, the deep state UA is very vehemently saying that this is not reality. These are just fake information. So we do not know what is the reality in that sense, because it could have happened, it could not have happened. So And if it had happened and it's a failure, why wouldn't the Ukrainians post the videos to show the Russian failures?
By the writing of those that participated in that battle, there was supposed to 3 battalions attacking at the same time, so they would split the Ukrainian artillery on them. But before that, the day before that, Ukrainians destroyed that mine clearing equipment, UR-77 or something like that, 1 on the north and 2 on the south of Avdiivka. They really catch them, not on the front line, but in the back when they were approaching to the front line in order to activate and do the mine clearing. Another issue I'm seeing from that video was that only 1 tank was having a mine clearing equipment attached on it, out of 10 vehicles in the column. That's too risky. So they didn't have enough mine clearing equipment. You need to have 2 tanks with the mine clearing, but one gets destroyed, another one could just go around it, and there's a more option for the more widespread area of disembarkment of the attacking force.
That's why you don't need mine clearing equipment when you got the Shahed MTLB. The MTLB, that guy had packed with explosives that they drove across the minefield, and he jumped off and ran away before it hit a lane.
But this was already planned ahead, so they probably expected it that mine UR-77 was going to do the job, but the Ukrainians destroyed it the day before. And then the issue is those 3 battalions were supposed to attack on 3 lines, 3 attacks at the same time, so they would split the Ukrainian artillery. To attack them at the same time, you cannot use it concentrated artillery attack. And then this guy says that 1 battalion was 2 hours late, so they got hammered. Then the other one 2 hours later also got hammered, and the third one, most probably just officer wrote a report that they reached Berdichi and had to pull back. Just most probably that, because they say they didn't move anywhere. And that's the problem. So this is the Donbass militia. It's not a Russian military. That's the point. It's not
but the thing is,
properly.
that's just splitting hairs. Because if you look at like the deployment maps, there's Wagner units all around, between Soledar and Kremen and Kupiansk, but they're not really Wagner units anymore. They're probably just Wagner designated units from the that have been absorbed. There's LPR, there's volunteers, there's regular Russian forces, there's National Guard. More than there's Marines, there's VUDV. I would imagine they got all. They're probably all operating down there, just in different sectors, or maybe even mixed together.